Group Captain Pandey, I'll begin with you, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I'm getting you. Thank you for having me
Sir,
here.
appreciate you being here. Sir, with all that you've heard and seen, especially today with this report coming out, there are different schools of thoughts. One is that this was a switch which was, tweaked deliberately, and that is why the conversation of that nature in the cockpit. The other side is, of course, without blaming the pilots, that this could be a malfunction, a software glitch, but most of the experts I've been speaking to all day deny that something like this is even possible. What are your thoughts on what's happened here? And is this a safety concern which has been ignored for a very, very long time? You can just tweak these switches and the engine is going to stall, and then of course a calamity awaits.
Now, the first thing is the last point which you raised about the report which came in 2018 about FFA, why it was ignored. Rather that basically there are two types of report. One is mandatory nature, other is advisory, means option is given to the operator or OEM to either go for it or you can ignore depending on your own concern. But nevertheless, having all these factors one side, OEM as well as operator both are supposed to ensure the safety of aircraft as well as passengers both are ensured in all conditions. Now coming to this particular case, what happened with Dreamliner, the basic fact that Dreamliner is the advanced platform, and the record which says they had incident-free record, right? Minor incidents do take place, but they were not of the nature where crash could have been the result. Now, especially the whole report, a 15-page report which came yesterday, we have whole focus is on the fuel switches. Now, if you see the two aspects only I want to submit. One is the design itself it doesn't provide you freedom to operate at your will. Means when I'm saying this, it means you have to actually plan it. Means planning means you have to actually decide. Yes, I have to switch off because manually you're like a few experts were saying by mistake hands must have gone and the switch by force would have come down. But again, these switches are not normal switches. They are the switches which have been designed in such a way that the automatic lock, mechanical lock comes in where it is not easy. You have to make sincere effort to make it. And so operating both the switches from one switch to other switch, at least it take about, people are saying, 4 to 9 seconds. The time, and while report says it is within 1 second it happened. So there are various factors which put question mark on the observations. Now this is the basic fact we should not forget. This is the preliminary report, and advanced report will come. The other full detailed report will come in 6 months to 1 year. We'll see, because the data which has been milked out is huge. The 49 hours of data has been milked out, which is a huge amount of data. Although this 49 hours scatters for the 6 flights which was undertaken by the Dreamliner on that day, as well as the total 6 hours of audio recording. So going through each and every part with minute critical approach, it takes time. So we have to give the time. But the point is how this, especially the people, those who are locking on the switch part, that we have to see whether switch there really resulted in the crash, which whole world is when they saw it was the whole world is under shock due to this crash. One more point I will add: the sabotage action point has been mooted by so many people. But point is sabotage how these switches are mechanical in nature. You have to physically move it, and it is not easy. Like I mentioned, that easily you cannot move. You have to make sincere effort to move it. Number one. Number two, when Malaysian airliner MH370 in 2014 was missing, then it was given in the Time magazine, the article came, and it was declared that it was remotely taken over by somebody. Now, all these factors are there. I'm not denying that part. But point is, there is no evidence. At least the EAFR, the extended airborne flight recorders, would have given some evidence about this factor, that things control going from one place to other place. Like easily we have seen when everything happened, the timeline which has been given in the report, which clearly indicates that these
So
things
there
are
is also
well recorded.
there's also a talk about the switches being turned back on again. How did that happen within seconds?
So the derivatives,
And why isn't there a conversation about it being coming back to life between these two pilots?
No, the point is, whenever any machine, whether it is a Dreamliner class of advanced aircraft or normal machines, which are moving and operating today in our sky, is very, very built, what they call is built-in testing equipments are there, which gives you warning to you, something going abnormal, you get audio warning, the light, red light comes on, which attracts your attention, and it demands, rather it says, audio warning says, okay, this thing is going to happen. So pilot immediately his attention is attracted, and he operates from that. So switches have been, when they saw that engine is not moving, the thrust is not coming up, because when you fly, you know, your body feels, yes, the whole system is moving, the momentum is there. So when they realize that machine is not moving the way it should move. So then they started finding out what is the problem, and then fuel indications, when they found that, they tried to relight also. The engine one came on also, but there was not sufficient time, because there are three types of recovery when they switch on the relight, try to relight. What they call is the mill and the assisted recovery, and then APU based recovery. So all three need some time, and there was not sufficient time. By the time this thing would have taken place, uh, aircraft on the ground. So the biggest suspicion which comes, which is created, is the time of event, the time of incident, just taking off and then it is happening. The two more factors. One is that aircraft has got airborne. It means those switches are on the right place. And when it has moved to a certain degree, about 9 to 10 nautical miles, what they're saying. So this operation is very, very clearly explicit evidence that those functions were normal.
All right.
Subsequently,
Okay.
what happened, whether it was software confliction, or it was the electrical malfunctioning which came up, because electronics, electricals, what they say, nobody can guarantee that it will continue 1 minute, or it will continue for 1,000 years. So there is question, but point is, I think we need to wait for the detailed
Okay.
report.
Let me
We may